When was the last time you spent time with yourself doing nothing?
For me, my story, as a mother and a caregiver, my son was diagnosed with Down syndrome. It's a rare disease.
Okay.
Whereby you have different combination of seizure disorder.
Okay.
In the process, it's affected me mentally.
Yes.
To the extent that I could not leave the house, I could not sleep, and nobody in the house noticed.
Oh.
So my way of coping with it was through dance. I used to put YouTube, dance to the music.
Any music? What genre are we talking about?
Any music.
Okay.
But I started with the music that I loved when I was young.
Okay.
In my teenage years, I started with those kind of songs because those are the songs I could familiarize with.
So if you don't mind, we can do a mindfulness exercise.
Okay,
all
let's
right?
do it.
So let's say, Nema, can I use you as an example? Let's say Nema says something which I'm against, or it's against my culture. I'm starting to feel edgy, right? But I'm in a podcast. I can't start closing my eyes and feeling zen. So what am I going to do? All I'm going to do is let's notice 5 things we can see around us and just focus on that.
Yeah.
The color, the size. 4 things we can hear. Focus just on what you can hear, nothing else. 3 things you can touch. The texture, the temperature. 2 things you can smell. Could be something fresh. 1 thing you can taste. Might be some residue of coffee you've had. And there you are.
Lean in, take a deep breath. Let's explore. How do you come from burnout to balance? How do you come from stress to strength? And how do you survive to get to true living? So we are going to unpack that shortly with our lovely therapists, 3 of them in the room today. We are going to discuss this and we are going to really unpack this, demystify it, give really simple tools that anyone can use and apply any day, anytime, and we will see the results. So we are going to give stories. I know we are going to get very vulnerable in this room today. If we feel like crying, ladies, let's do it. It's our space. We can cry, we can laugh, we can just share this moment with our viewers, and let's just talk about what this means. We know there's a World Mental Health Day, and we know it is acknowledged all over the world. It is right now interesting. I was just reading this about we have people with serious mental health conditions. We have people who died 10 to 20 years earlier, right, before their time, because of mental wellness conditions, mental health conditions. We want to understand what is that exactly. But before we get to that, we're going to introduce ourselves. I don't want to undersell anyone. I do not want to share my own stories. I want to hear from each one of us. Let's just talk about who we are and what do we do? What qualifies us to sit here today? All right? And we're going to start from Sakina.
Super.
Yes.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Sakina Taki, and I am the founder and CEO of a company called Impasto Ventures. So impasto is an Italian word that describes a stroke of paint that has texture.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
And the reason I use that is, to begin with, I teach art as a form of therapy. I teach mandala art. But also when you touch paint that's on the wall, there's some impact you have. You feel something. And that's what we do as a company. We say whether it's a podcast like this or a talk or a workshop, we create impact. Impasto Ventures champions suicide prevention. We're the only company in Africa that provide a course called the Suicide First Aid course, where we teach the common wananchi on suicide prevention. If you're not a therapist or a counselor, how are you going to talk about suicide? How are you going to read through those symptoms? If somebody was to attempt suicide in this room, what would you do? as a human being.
Oh.
And that's what we teach you. What are the post-care methods? If somebody has attempted and you want to still, provide care, just as a common person, what do you do? So that's what we teach. We also champion mental wellness in the corporate space, where we teach people how to deal with stress and how to better communication. We teach HR managers what to do in situations when onboarding when it comes to mental health. And we're hoping to also start to help companies to set out mental wellness policies. I'm currently studying my PhD in mental health that will equip me well to be able to bring all these things together under one umbrella.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. That is really, really interesting. You've really unpacked it so well. I feel we understand. But again, we're going to unpack it some more through this broadcast. So Nema, please tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, Becky. So my name is Nema Njoroge. I am a UK certified therapist who uses neuroscience to help us uncover the issues you have. Sometimes you might be feeling something, you might be going through something, but you don't understand where it's coming from. You're scared, you're all over the place, and people around you don't understand you. So you come to me, I help you figure out where that issue is coming from. And on top of that, I help you reframe that issue so that you can give that part of you a better way of supporting you. In my work, I have seen people with all kinds of challenges, you name it. And most of the time that they're able to get faster, long-lasting results compared to you can go for therapy. For myself, I went for therapy for over 4 years and I didn't get to where I wanted to get. And when I came across this type of therapy, I realized, you know what? You can get faster results and you can enjoy the results for a long time. Thank you.
Interesting. Munira,
My name is
apart from the dance moves, tell us.
My name is Munira Abdi, a fitness and wellness enthusiast. I've been into SWITE program. It was initially established in Uganda 10 years ago, which stands for Sukuma Wellness Experience for Active Transformation. It's a program that entails improving lives through physical activity, nutrition, and mental health. I practice holistic wellness because of my personal experience. Being a mother and a caregiver, it brought me into this space. Thank you.
Welcome. Amazing. Maybe you share with us some stories. We love hearing stories in this podcast. We want to understand, why did you choose that particular role, that particular profession? Because there's so many others. I mean, why did you get there? Give us your personal story. How did you land yourself as a suicide prevention therapist?
Yes, a suicide first aid tutor, and the only one in Africa.
Okay.
So I actually studied I studied broadcasting and journalism.
Oh.
My BA was in broadcasting and journalism, and I also worked in the business space, so I have an MBA. But when COVID hit, I lost my job, and I didn't quite know what to do. And my partner at that time was extremely supportive, and he told me, why don't you do something you've always wanted to do, but never had the chance of doing?
Oh.
So I went back to writing. So in primary, I loved poetry, as a form of expression. So I decided to jot down my personal story, not knowing it was mental health. And as I was jotting it down, I realized that, hold on, I had issues. Here what I went through, it was a panic attack. Here what I went through, and I started kind of reading about it during COVID. And I got my book together and I launched that book in Zanzibar. It was launched by the Minister of Health in Zanzibar at that time. It's called My Little Yellow Book. But my publisher asked me a question. Why should people listen to you in the mental health space? Yeah, you have a communication background. You're fantastic with what you do when it comes to business development. But who are you when it comes to mental health?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, actually, that's true. So I started doing a mental health first aid course. But I knew I was in this space because of incidences of suicide that I'd also heard. And I come from a space where personally I also attempted at a point. So when I went in that space and I started my MBA research paper was based on the effects of COVID-19 on the hospitality industry and their mental wellness. When I was doing my research, the amount of suicide ideation cases I got were ridiculous. And I told myself, if I don't talk about this, then what's the point of getting into this? And one thing led to the other. I also consulted for an institution where I learned a lot from them, but I also realized the space I was in, professional therapists, researchers were stepping on eggshells when we wanted to talk about suicide, and it was not their fault.
Yeah.
So I went back to school and I studied the suicide first aid course as a tutor to know I'm not a therapist, but I'm somebody who likes education. So how can I train people and be in a space where talking about suicide can be normal, a normal conversation? And that's what got me into the suicide prevention space. First of all, nobody is talking about it. And unfortunately, Kenyans, we are dramatic.
Yes, we
So
are.
we want a story where people are going to cry and tell me, how did you do it? And, that's not the right way to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, the person who will tell you about their traumas is going home re-traumatized. And you who have spoken about the methodologies are giving people ideas. So how do you talk about suicide without re-traumatizing the crowd and re-traumatizing yourself? And that's what got me into this space. Looking at the policies in Africa when it comes to suicide, there's a change that is needed. But we cannot rely on Western research and information to make policies in Kenya or in Africa.
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, studying a PhD in mental health will now refine those skills and formalize it to tell us that this is the research we need in Africa. And that is why I do my PhD online. Because my research is based here, my service is based here, it is for our people. So how do we do this? And how do we work towards a better mental wellness policy in Kenya and in Africa as a whole?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yes.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Nema, tell us, why did you land in that space as a hypnotherapist?
Wow. So my story is a really long one. But in short terms, my bachelor's was in computer science.
Okay.
And I got married young, right after campus. And we had our first bundle of joy, who was a boy. And he had lots of challenges.
Yeah.
Things I had never, he had eczema, very extreme eczema. I haven't seen any child who has that extreme eczema. So to have, those flare-ups on their face constantly. So it was very draining for me. It was very frustrating. I had never heard of eczema before. So here I was with a child who, can't fit in with their friends. They are not able to express themselves because the doctors said they had delayed milestones because, the body was focused on fighting the disease. So after some time trying to support him, I was like, you know what, if I can help this child excel in class, he would do well in society.
Yeah.
So I went back to school. I did a postgraduate in education. And here I have a son who's top of class, very good in maths, and the best reader in his class. But then there's something missing. In a crowd, he would be overwhelmed emotionally. And I went back to the drawing board because I was like, if I have someone who's very good here, but they cannot manage their emotions, so how can they deliver the knowledge that they have to other people? So that's how my journey started. We went to therapy, myself and him, for a long time. And with time, I was getting to a point, okay, so after how many years will I go for therapy to see the results that I want? And so in my research, that's when I came across a therapy that includes hypnosis. That's why it's called hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And in my research, I understood that when issues are not in your immediate awareness, that
Yes.
is your conscious mind, it's hard for you to understand where they're coming from. Because remember, the subconscious is very, very automatic. It runs your heartbeat, it runs your breathing. So it's something that's automatic, but you don't understand, why do I behave like this? Why do I do like this? So I fell in love with it, and I was like, this is it for me. This is something that's going to help me and my son. And as they say, the rest is history. We saw very, very big changes and differences that we had never dreamt of. And so I was like, wow, this is life changing. So I can also help other people to achieve the same. And that's why I went back to school, did my hypnotherapy course, and now here I am,
Okay.
helping transform lives.
All right. Hold that thought, because you're going to teach us exactly what hypnotherapy is, what that really looks like,
Yeah.
what that really feels like. Because I know people fear hypnotherapy because we don't understand it fully. So we fear what we don't know, right? That's just us as humans, especially from this space and this region of Africa. So you're going to unpack that for us and tell us what that looks like. Yeah, Munira, how did you get yourself there?
For me, my story, as a mother
Yeah.
and a caregiver, my son was diagnosed with Down syndrome. It's a rare disease
Okay.
whereby you have different combination of seizure disorders.
Okay.
In the process, it's affected me mentally
Yes.
to the extent that I could not leave the house, I could not sleep,
Yeah.
and nobody in the house noticed.
Oh.
So my way of coping with it was through dance. I used to put YouTube, dance to the music.
Any music?
Any music.
What genre are we talking about?
Any music.
Okay.
But I started with the music that I loved when I was young.
Okay.
In my teenage years, I started with those kind of songs because those are the songs I could familiarize with.
Okay.
With time, I realized it was having a positive impact on my physical appearance,
Okay.
and that's how I joined the physical fitness.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I
Okay.
joined Sweat Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. And we're going to put up a video of your before and after, because that for me was amazing. The before and after transformation, just the dancing. And what else did you say you did?
Nutrition.
And nutrition. We don't need Ozempic, you guys. We don't need Ozempic. I saw that video and everybody should see it. So we're going to link that up here and everyone will see it. Now let's talk about something else beyond the roles. Because we are very comfortable being called mothers, wives, HR practitioners. We are very happy being called therapists and all those other things. Those are roles that we just go with every day. But beyond that, can you help us understand? And how do you help your patients understand who they are beyond those roles?
I think a question I'd like to also ask the audience is, when was the last time you spent time with yourself doing nothing? We are molded into these roles. We don't know, so at many a times we don't know our likes and dislikes. You will cook what your family likes, their favorite food, and that automatically now becomes your favorite food somehow. But when was the last time you actually thought and said, no, but this is my favorite dish? When you spend time with yourself, you get to highlight a lot of things about yourself. What is bothering you? Why is it bothering you?
Yeah.
Is this what's bothering you, or there's another trigger at the back? So one of the main tools of knowing is sit with yourself. And that's the reason I mentioned before, I practice meditation on a daily basis. People think if you meditate, you're Zen. There are very rare moments you are Zen. A lot of the time.
Well, what's Zen? Explain to us what Zen means.
Zen means different to everything else. When she dances, she's Zen.
Okay.
You know, she's in a space where there's nothing.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah. Zen is a space of nothingness. But we don't allow ourselves to feel nothingness because we are always stimulated. I go to the gym for mental wellness, but I have a podcast. I'm catching up on all my phone calls. You know, I'm trying to check out what everyone is wearing. That's stimulating. So I would say go to a coffee shop or a restaurant full of people and ask the waiter or waitress, table for one, please.
Yeah.
Sit with yourself, put your phone away, have a meal, your favorite meal, and know yourself better. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Let's follow up on that. Now we also talk about self-care.
Yes.
What does radical self-care look like, Naima? How does it look? How does it look like? How does it feel like? That we call, because we say self-care, everybody hears different things. When you hear self-care, people hear spas, people hear massage, people hear different things. Yeah. So according to Naima, because now this is you, according to you, what would you advise as, that radical self-care?
Yeah. So it's actually an amazing question. What I would say is a lot of people think of the outer, but what about the inner?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where everything comes from.
Yeah.
So if you're happy from inside, we can see it. But if you're happy just by showing, we can still see. So how do you cultivate that radical self-care from deep inside? I'm a biggest believer in setting boundaries, making sure whatever I'm doing is aligned with what I want, not what everybody else wants. Because most of the times we are naturally people pleasers. But what is it that I want for myself? So getting used to saying no and being okay with that, that's the definition of radical
Self-care.
self-care.
Yeah. Yeah. Munira, what do you think?
I think about self-radical self-care, it should be something you look at yourself and ask yourself, what is the reason for your burnout?
Okay. Yeah. How do you know you have burnout? Let's go back there. How do you even know you have burnout?
When you feel mentally exhausted.
Okay.
So how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be like you say you want your me time, like be alone in the house,
Yeah.
sit with yourself,
Yeah.
or even saying no to some invitation.
Yes.
Even at work, when you're given work that you don't want to, you don't feel like doing it, you just say no.
Yeah.
Even in a relationship, when it's toxic, you should be in a position to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, in those lines of relationships and those other things, when you talk about toxic, how do we know we're in a toxic relationship? Because sometimes you have people telling you in a toxic relationship, you don't feel like you're in one, or rather you also feel that you're in a toxic relationship. Other people feel like you're okay. I mean, you're driving, you have this posh, you live in this posh neighborhood. You look like you're okay. So who is saying the truth here? Who should be saying the truth? Who should actually know whether you're in a toxic relationship? Is it you? Is it your friends?
I think you should be the one to know.
Okay.
Because
And how do you know?
Sometimes it's hard to know, but you can tell from if someone is manipulative.
Okay.
As
Right.
simple as someone manipulating you.
Yeah.
That one can show someone is in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Because you do things that you don't want to do,
Yeah.
but because you have been manipulated, you end up doing them to please someone else.
Interesting. Sakina, what do you think?
I think, again, toxicity depends on individuals.
Yeah.
A trait I would like in my partner, it's not compulsory that that's a trait you would like in your partner.
True.
I'll give you an
True that.
example. If I had a partner who would drop me here, make sure I'm okay, call, you'd be like, a lot. How can you handle that?
too
And now,
much.
because you're my friend, now
Yes.
I'm sitting there listening to you about how he should not be doing everything for me.
Yeah.
I come from a different culture.
Yeah.
I come from a different space. I probably like the fact that my partner is doing that. So to me, he's not possessive. That is his form of showing love.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'd also like to tell, especially to our lady friends out there,
Yes.
please don't be influenced. Know what you like
Yeah.
and dislike.
Yeah.
Knowing if you're in a toxic relationship, you will identify them, but you will be in denial.
Yeah.
So as soon as you're making excuses for somebody else's behavior, already that should be a sign that you're in a toxic relationship. Your family, your friends, don't listen to everyone. Have those 1 or 2 people you actually sit and listen to. And I advise you to listen to somebody slightly older to you. They've experienced life.
True.
They normally know.
True.
We use words like being a narcissist in a click of a finger. Your partner is a narcissist. Women are mostly toxic in a relationship, not men. But
that's
want
an interesting fact.
Yes.
I did know.
And I come from a space where I advocate for men and men's emotions, because we're the ones who've set up a society where men are not allowed to project their emotions, right? We come from a society where we want equal rights for men and women, but the man should provide financially.
Yes.
My money is my money.
My money is mine.
But when it comes to the home space and family space, we are supposed to be equal. So I'm not saying you're right and I'm wrong. I'm just saying know what you want and draw your lines. Just the way Nema spoke about boundaries. My boundary is very different from your boundary. So I like the fact that one question leads to the other. Know yourself, spend time with yourself, know your boundaries, define toxic behavior to you, and then you go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nema, you want to add on that?
I want to add on something
Okay.
about how we tell other people, oh, you're in a toxic relationship.
Yes. We are all therapists.
We are all therapists out there. One thing you need to understand is the mind likes things which are familiar.
Okay.
So this person is used to this person who you're saying they're toxic.
Yeah.
But do you know they are never going to leave? And very few people leave those relationships. Because why? It's better because I know what kind of behaviors they have.
Yeah.
I know what will happen to me if the worst case scenario happens. But I don't know when I leave what will happen to me.
Okay.
So that's the reason why people stay. So it's not about telling someone, oh, this is happening, you should leave. No. How can you support them so that when they leave, they have a safety net out there?
Yes.
Not just they're leaving and then they don't know what they're going to do, what life will look like for them.
Yeah.
It's very traumatic. It's even worse than being in that toxic relationship.
Yeah. The leaving part is worse than being in there.
Yes.
Because being in there, you already got used to this. You understand. If I'm hit, I know it will not be too much. Or if I'm abused, I know how far it will go. Is that what you're saying?
It's very predictable.
It is predictable.
But out there,
It's
I don't
not.
know what kind of lion I'll meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So better the devil you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's an interesting topic. Okay. All right. So let's talk about something, again, a bit different. When people come to you, your patients come to you, or rather you notice from your, let me not call them patients, could be just someone, or you notice they're a bit disconnected. All right? They're disconnected. All right? What do you advise them? Because it starts with mental health, I understand. It starts with very, very small, bits of issues here, there. I don't want to be around people. I just want to be by myself. Yes, there's a self-love part of it that you talk to us about. But at what point is it now getting to the other negative side? Like what? So, and how do you know that this the way they're disconnecting, this is not healthy? And how do you bring them back? Or what do you advise them?
So I would say mindful practices are really good in the moment.
Yes.
And because I teach first aid, my solutions are in the moment.
Oh.
So yes, therapy is really good, and I do advise, and advocate for it.
Yes.
But what can you do now before you go for therapy? So if you don't mind, we can do a mindfulness exercise.
Okay,
All
let's
right?
do it.
So let's say, Nema, can I use you as an example? Let's say Nema says something which I'm against, or it's against my culture. I'm starting to feel edgy, right? But I'm in a podcast. I
Yes.
can't start closing my eyes and feeling zen. So what am I going to do? All I'm going to do is let's notice 5 things we can see around us and just focus on that.
Yeah.
The color, the size. 4 things we can hear. Focus just on what you can hear, nothing else. 3 things you can touch. The texture, the temperature, two things you can smell. Could be something fresh. One thing you can taste. Might be some residue of coffee you've had. And there you are. You're in a neutral stance.
Okay.
And you've done this in a space where I didn't even know, Murura, I was doing a mindfulness exercise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because you're not saying it out loud.
Exactly.
You're just feeling it and saying these things to
we
yourself.
We need quick fixes at times,
Yes.
because we're all in really rushed spaces.
Yeah.
A matatu has cut me off and you're going to pick your child.
Yeah.
Now you're edgy. How do you bring yourself back to a neutral position?
Okay.
So I would say this is one of the techniques I use, which is very quick, especially in the corporate space. You can be in a meeting, you can be dealing with a client, you can be on a phone call with your boss, and he or she says something that has triggered you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
There we are.
Amazing. And that's very practical, very simple. It's doable.
In the moment.
In the moment. Amazing. Wow. Do you have other steps that you could share with us? And don't say the dancing bit, because we're not, some of us might have 2 left feet. What else would you recommend, like in the moment?
In the moment,
Yeah.
just taking deep breath.
Okay. Yeah.
It will bring you into the moment.
Yes.
Just breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
Feel the air in you,
Mm.
getting out of you. That will bring you into the moment.
Okay. Just a breathing in and breathing out. Amazing. And now, how do people, identify and amplify? How should they amplify their own strengths? Because I have also noticed that most people will really focus on their inadequacies. We focus on what we don't have. We focus on our weaknesses a lot. And that brings us down a notch, or several notches down. So how do we now amplify our strengths, right? How do we do that?
There are 2 things. One is gratitude.
Yeah. Okay.
So a lot of the times we always look at people, and especially thanks to social media, everybody is posting pictures of Diani, Lamo, they've gone here, they've gone there, and you're like, now me, I'm stuck here. Yes. There's something that you have that they lack. So divide your life: financial spaces, family, friends, work, self, and you'll always see out of 5, if I score 4 out of 5 in a certain aspect, maybe she will, score less there, but higher in somewhere else. But if we sit in gratitude of what we have, I think that makes a very big difference. And I did this course which taught me mental fitness. So it's very good to say physically fit. And I like Sukuma because they bring holistic wellness. How do you stay mentally fit? What's this mental gym that you're going to? And one of the things you're taught in there is find the gift in whatever has happened. So when we the term failure, which to me is a myth, what is the gift in that? What have you picked? We are all here because we went through something. And the gift of that was it shifted our life, our careers, our purpose in such a way that we're lucky to share space here. So what is your gift? Look for that in the situation.
Yes. Yeah. And be okay with it.
Sit in acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, accept it, because again, there's this thing of being, is it humility? When we do this, like here, I don't know if other people do this in other countries. When somebody tells you, "Oh, I love your hair," like, "Oh, my stupid hair."
Yes.
No,
Obviously, yes. You have to be humble.
It didn't cost me much. I did avocado for treatment. I mean, I don't even spend much. We consider that as humility. All right. When somebody points out something they think is really lovely on you, or a strength they really identify you have, you will try and play down. I don't know why we do that. Why do we do that, Nema? Why do we do that?
Yeah, so mostly it's because we have grown up in a culture where we are not used to the compliment. So it hits you and the mind feels, oh, that's not familiar. So let me try and wash it down. So that's usually mostly what happens. Yeah. And then also because we in the same culture whereby if you're excelling, you're too much. So most people you find they're trying to dim themselves down so that they're not told that they're too much.
Yeah.
And this culture of evil eye. Now my hair will start to fall. Remember, I said my hair is good. So let me tell you, it's not all that good. So I don't
Yes.
get evil eye. I think that's also
Yeah.
plays a big role in our culture. Yeah.
It actually does. You know, I remember when we were younger and we were told by mom that anytime you go somewhere and tell somebody compliments on your skin, compliments you on your clothes, I don't know what we were supposed to do. I don't know, we were supposed to spit. I can't remember what we were supposed to do. It was spitting. There's always something we used to, because we believed it.
Yeah.
Mom said it, so it's
It is there.
This
aspect of evil eyes, I think we just take it a notch higher.
You said we are dramatic, and you're right to say that. Okay, so now we also want to understand, how do we guide people to face difficult emotions without suppressing or being consumed by them? Because, like we started by saying, at some point, we suppress our feelings. We don't even know when we are angry.
Yeah.
And when we are angry, we don't know how we behave or how we show up as angry. Because remember, I am used to faking this smile because it's expected of me throughout. So it's there, it's permanent. You know, somebody hurts me, I'm there like, you know, it's permanent, it's there, it's a default now, right? But how do we learn not to suppress who we really are, what we really feel like at the moment, right? So we ask ourselves, how do we learn not to suppress it? And how do we learn also how to control it? Yeah?
For me, I think I'll give you another tool here. We need to learn how to label our emotions. We know the basic emotions. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry.
Yeah.
There's a tool that is called the feelings wheel. It's a wheel of emotions that gives you basic emotions to complex emotions.
Okay.
Very good tool to use with your teenagers and your children as well. So when somebody is like, I am angry, okay, where is the anger channeling from? Then you have a list of emotions. Then you realize it's channeling from here. From here, what are the two emotions you're feeling? And then you will realize, actually, I'm exhausted. So I'm not angry, I'm exhausted. And the exhaustion is coming from the fact that today is Thursday and I've had a rough time. What should I do? You know what? Let me wrap up at 4 and just take a break.
Yeah.
So you have taught yourself how to label your emotion.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm not angry, I'm exhausted, for example.
Okay.
And now I know what to do because I have found out what exactly is the problem.
Yeah. That's an interesting one.
Yes.
That's quite an
We
interesting
actually
one.
teach this during our workshop and how then to deal with it during our stress management workshop for corporates.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But now give us a tool that we can use. You know, we are there. An example we use that you used earlier, and you talked about you're on the phone with your boss and they're making you mad. Man, they are just, working on your emotions, and you want to scream and tell them a piece of what you're feeling like at that point. So at that point, I need to suppress my emotions. Of course, I need to suppress my emotions. But again, I have to acknowledge I have these emotions.
Yes.
So do you have a tool I can use at that point in time, whether we are face-to-face or whether it's virtual, it's on call? What would you recommend I do?
What has worked for me is something that our recovery mentor at Impasto told me he is a tool he uses for recovery patients is when you feel like doing something, count slowly to 5.
Okay.
Always remember your decision-making ability has to come from a space when your mind is neutral. So take yourself back to the neutral space.
Okay.
So Farid Kimani taught me this. And he's like, it helped him during his recovery journey. And he's like, every time you feel like picking, a substance or something, you sit and you count to 5. And I actually use this when I want to eat chocolate or ice cream and I want to, and I'm like, let me count to 5. And then you tell yourself, no, this is not the right thing to do in that very moment. So I'll tell you to do the same.
Yeah.
Let's respond instead of react. So if you're shouting at me, very easy for me to shout back, but how does that taint the relationship? Especially when it's your boss. And that's why you will realize it's very hard to work with Gen Zs, because they're expressive. And it's okay to be expressive, but in what manner can you express? So you hold yourself in that moment because maybe that's your boss The
Yeah.
company is your source of income, so there's a certain
True.
respect for it as well. Once you've calmed down, then can I generate an email and say, actually, if next time we can handle this situation in this way, I would appreciate it. I've been firm, I've drawn my boundary,
Yeah.
but in a certain demeanor.
Yes,
Yeah.
and still
But
being
this-
respectful.
Yes, but this thing of just counting to 5,
Yeah.
has really helped me just come back to a neutral stance.
Yeah. Amazing. Nema, what have you done in such cases?
So the way I view emotions
Yeah.
is an emotion is a signal.
It's a signal.
It's a signal. It's not something we should hate or fear. No, it's a signal.
Yeah.
It's telling you something is wrong. Something is not in line with where you want to go or how you want to feel.
Okay.
So it's a signal for me to stop and ask myself, how am I feeling right now? And what should I do about it? One tactic that I love is, when you're in the moment and you're going through something, when you use your thumb
Yeah.
to rub against the other
Pointing fingers.
Yeah. So I will
Oh, all
go
of them.
on all of them. So
Okay.
from the first one, just going and then tell myself that the solution is on my fingertips.
Oh.
So that tricks your mind. And I want you to understand it's tricking it. Because at this moment where you are becoming overcome with emotion, it needs something very logical to help you calm down.
Okay.
So once you tell it, you know what, I might not have the solution right now, but I still have it in me. So it starts helping your mind to calm down.
Yeah, I like that part of tricking the mind.
Yeah.
I love it. That is what I'm going to use later today because I'll find myself in some emotions at some point. Yeah. You have another way you cope with this kind of emotions?
No, I think I'm learning from them.
Yes, I know it's the dancing and the music, right? And I like that bit of telling your mind what you want it to feel, what you want it to think, or what you want it, how you want it to react. There's a power of the mind, right? And we actually don't take time to do that. We go with how we feel and what we feel like doing, and on we are set. We get set off very easily. Of course, there are so many things happening around us. So maybe that's the reason. But again, just taking that moment, just taking that deep breath, the counting, the touching of the fingers, speaking to your mind. This is very, very practical, and we can do this every other day. And everyone can borrow this. Anybody can use this, right? The other thing is now, we also have people who are stressed because they have these goals, they have ideas, beautiful, and okay, they're unrealistic, according to where they are in life, maybe the season, maybe the age, all those things. But how do you help people set meaningful goals? Because again, if I'm not able to achieve my goals at the certain time I had set for myself, that, takes me off in a bad way. I feel not enough. I feel like I'm not able, I'm not the one, I don't have the tools, all those negative vibes, So how will you help someone, say client again, or just someone, not achieve, but set those meaningful goals that are realistic, right? And without using the theory part, because we have, we mostly teach theory, and of course the theory comes with practical, but I want something that can be done right now. Yeah. So how do we do this?
So if there's one thing I say is, for your long-term goals, there is no quick fix.
Okay.
The journey is hard.
Yes.
You should know who you're going to for correct mentorship or guidance. In the space I am in and at Impasto, we have mentors, we have coaches,
Okay.
we have counselors, we have therapists and psychiatrists. So when you are looking at goal setting, there's no issue with you mentally.
Okay.
It's just something in life you want to achieve.
Okay.
And at that point, going to a coach, a coach who is going to sit you down and say, I can say my goal is to reach the moon in 2027.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Then how are you connected to NASA? If you're not, how are we making that connection?
Yeah.
So But you need that accountability. And that's what a coach does.
Yes.
I'm a certified coach from ICF. And we have different tools we use to be able to help you in your ability realize what you have to do.
Okay.
You can come to me and I will give you, do this, would be very simple for me.
Yeah.
But it will be hard for you to act on it because it's coming from me.
Yeah.
So even in a space of many times a relationship, we tell people what we want to do, our kids, our partners, our house helps, but we don't look at their own capacity and ability.
Yeah.
So when you indulge a coach, they will help you rediscover or discover yourself while you go and set those goals. And what are the steps you're going to take towards it? So have SMART goals with your coaches. Indulge a coach.
Yeah. But before we get to the coach, because we ultimately, okay, of course we'll get there. What is at least one or two ways you could advise for us to set these meaningful goals by ourselves, right in the comfort of our homes? How do you think we can do that? Because
use SMART.
Okay.
Be specific.
Yeah.
Are your goals measurable? Right?
Yes.
What is A for?
Actionable, attainable.
Attainable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And T, the timeline.
Yes.
It's so simple. These are things you're taught in high school.
Yeah.
You know, take that and literally sit with your goals. And if you are smart with your goals, I mean, you're halfway there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also something else I've realized, I don't know, could be right, I could be wrong. Some personalities, because there's a time we had a very interesting podcast here and we talked about personalities. Some personalities are very disciplined. They'll follow their goals to the letter. I mean, they will pursue, even if it takes 10 years, they will go there, they will do it. Some personalities, rather, would be very excited about the big goals, but coming down to actually doing the work, you know, would rather just sit down and dream and create in the air, you know, and just have all these fantasies, you know. But when it comes to now actioning them, we don't know how to do it, right? And I remember we were having this discussion just earlier today, and we were talking about you could have this friend who will tell you, take it a notch down. I mean, you're being too, this is superficial, this is not practical. Come down, you know. But again, coming down for them is coming to their level. You, on the other hand, you know where you want to go. You have the vision. You see it. All right? So you have this one telling you to come down because for them, you don't have what it takes. They have watched you. They know you don't have the money to achieve what you're talking about.
Yes.
But you and your faith and your vision, you're thinking, I can do this. Getting that balance. Because I've seen, even in marriages, where a wife has these grandiose ideas, right? And she can see them, she can taste them, you know, she can smell them. I can do this. But the husband goes like, hey, where are we? Hi. Let's just talk.
That's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to say about personalities, it's the first thing we do in our workshops.
Okay.
How you will succeed in life is not just by knowing your personality, but by knowing why is it that you don't gel with somebody else? What is their learning style and personality perspective?
Yeah.
And I would say nobody is wrong.
Yes.
We just don't know how to use each other's strengths. And I'll give you an example. So there's a test we do where it tells you, are you an activist? Are you somebody, if today Rebecca will tell me, by the way, there's a pool here, let's go, I will not even think.
I'm that one. I'm that
you just
one.
go for it. And you'll see those are the kind of people who take high risk, you know. And high risk also means it's a very high chance you're going to come back down. And then we have theorists. People are going to sit and say, no, okay, there's that swimming pool you want to go to. But what about the time? What about the weather? If I am just going to ignore their perspective, I might make a mistake of going inside, then how am I going to go home with wet clothes? But if I sit and say, oh, actually, there's a Carrefour here, or, you know, there's somewhere where I can buy a swimsuit, learn how to work with everybody's strengths.
Yes.
So when you have that one friend who's pulling you down, she's not pulling you down from her perspective. She's thinking from a different perspective. So sit and say, actually, okay, what do you think? Where do you think I would be making a mistake? And you will see she'll write things down for you. And, you know, as humans, we are right, and we are the only ones who are right. But if you take that perspective of hers and say, I want to do this, but how can I work on these? You will see you will get there faster. you know, because somebody else has weighed the risks for you. So even in your organizations, we always tell HR managers, skills can be taught. A lot of skills can be taught. It's very hard to change personalities. So when you're hiring, you know, when you're going out on a date, please go with a personality test, you know, because it's easier to gel with somebody or just to understand their personalities. So when you're going to tell me something, I won't lash at you. I'll know you're coming from a different perspective. That's what I'd have to say.
Yeah, and now let's just unpack that a little bit more about personalities. For all the three of you, when patients come to you, do you have a particular kind of a personality that runs for help more than another type of a personality? Is that clear? Like you have people who will I would rather die with my problems. I will not. You know, people might see me there, you know. Do you have the people who really run for help, you know, without thinking so much about it, overthinking it? Do you have that? What are those, how would you describe those people that really run for help very fast? And those others who suppress their emotions and they would rather stay in their problems and, you know, until sometimes it's a bit too late?
I wouldn't have a definite answer for that. But what I'd say is there's no a single type of personality. But you might see a certain personality pushes for assistance more. You know, but I wouldn't be able to put a finger on that, especially because I don't come from a space where you want to say something without figures. So if you put a figure 90%, I'd ask you, which research is this that
again, that is
done?
your personality.
Yes, so that is, yes. And also the space I come from, being from a place where you're thinking about policy and research, before you answer a question like this, what research have you done to actually find out? You know, I'm sure it's out there. But I will tell you in terms of professions, because we work with corporates, you will see people with professions where the skill level is very high. And I did some sessions at the Actuarial Society of Kenya conference, you know, and we realized that anxiety levels amongst actuarists are very high. You know, and that's just because actuaries are people who deal with math. So these are people who are math chops. In my generation, we just call them chops. I don't know what Gen Zs call them. Very smart. In school. And these are people who got 100% in pure math. Now you take these chops and you put them in a uni. So out of all the smart people, there's that cream of smartness. They get the actuary jobs or they go into actuarial science. And now among the 100 of smart people, you will have those 5 who are, now you're being sieved off. And because you are looked upon as somebody who has to know all the answers, now there's anxiety. Because how am I supposed to say, I don't know this calculation or I'm not coming into... You know, so stress levels in such professions are very high, and you will see they come more leaning towards stress management. So for me, I would analyze it based on profession as well. When it comes to high-level managers, CEO, there's a lot of me in coaching. So it's that perspective of the other person. That's what I'd say.
So for Neema, who... Like when you talk about corporates and we've talked about different professions, who are the people you know that come to you? Like which category mostly? Even ages, like talk about age factor. Is it the older? Is it the younger? Is it the gender? Is it the female, the male? Like who are these people? Just give us some demographics.
As she said, depending on the profession that you're in, you tend to seek for help more. And nowadays, even we have insurance which caters for therapy. So it's you can see something very different. But my belief is it depends on the environment. Purely on the environment. Because I have worked with people who are stay-at-home moms. And they have very high levels of trauma. I have worked with people who, you know, the corporate gurus, and they have very high levels of, you know, struggles in terms of the mental wellness space. So it just depends on the kind of environment you have been in. And there's a research that they did with twins who are switched and they lived in different countries.
Yeah.
And you find that in as much as they say they had this kind of genetic, you find one twin, depending on the environment they grew up in, had manifested some kind of a different type of disease or behaviors, and the other one, they didn't have it at all.
Interesting.
So for me, it's just the environment.
The environment.
So what kind of environment are you in? What are the experiences you're having? That really tells a lot.
Yeah. Munira, you have something to add?
Okay, from my experience is that people come from different backgrounds,
Yeah.
and mostly you find people who join the SWAT program have an underlying issue.
Okay.
Some might be having they are fighting a disease, now they want to reverse it. Some are having weight issues, some are want to add weight, others want to lose weight. So from different backgrounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Depending on where we are, we face different kinds of people who need our services. Yeah. Now let's talk about mindset or habit change. Which one has the biggest impact on improving focus, energy, and productivity? You know, when you talk about mindset, what mindset are we talking about? Yeah. Because again, mindset plays a big role. I was just having a discussion this morning with someone, and it was an interesting story. And he said that he got himself in a very bad loan. It happened to be really overwhelming. And so he got in there and it was deep, it was bad. He had to change his lifestyle. I mean, the way he provides for his children were, sent home from school. I mean, it was a whole story. And so I was like, so what changed? He's like, you know what? When I got to halfway paying through the loan, he just decided, you know what? I mean, this thing, I have to accept it. So the difference is, before that, he was in denial. He was fighting it. He was really, really fighting that the whole story. But now later is when he was like, you know what? I'm in this thing already. Can I just accept it and now start looking for extra sources of income? You know, that's mindset change. Because before you are the victim, you are the why me, oh yeah me. And then suddenly you just wake up, you're like, you know what? I got this. Right? So when you meet your clients, does this happen? Do you help them change their mindsets?
Funny enough, that's the first session I have with you.
Okay.
Is again, you will not know what kind of mindset you have until some certain tools are used. So there's a tool there's an Iranian individual, and he's the one who does mental fitness. He's the one who came up with, that curriculum. And he has a questionnaire that will tell you are, what traits do you have that are coming into your way or of your mindset. And being a victim is one of them. And it's actually, you'll see what is your highest to what is your lowest. And I won't say you're able to just transform overnight, but knowing first that actually I am being a victim. Now, how am I, and that's now what we do in coaching. How do you, if you're a victim 86% maybe if you reduce it to 75 or 50, your mindset will change. So that's the first coaching session we do.
Okay.
Because as a coach, again, we don't know you. You're coming from a space where I've never seen you, I've never heard of you before. So I also have to know you're thinking in a certain way, but what is making you think like that?
Yeah.
And a lot of this will be based on life events, what you've gone through in your life, your environment. Again, some people are in a space where there's a lot of positive talk. So have good friends. Today, if I go to Nema and say something, she will know the space I'm coming from because she's a good friend, but she's also a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
So what kind of friends and family do you have around you? What kind of friend are you yourself? And I would say for that aspect with the people who are around you, listen more than you give advice. We are so good at giving advice.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But sometimes people don't even know what you're thinking. They just want to let out and let them do it. And if you think it's enough for you, because sometimes we don't even want to hold that, just tell them, you know what, let's have 1 hour in a week where you're just venting out or you're just letting out. But that's what I would say. It's the first thing that we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for Nema?
Yeah, mindset is very important. It's very true. Like in my work, we call it more of a perception.
Okay.
Because you find that different people can go through the same experience, but they would have different perception of the same thing. So the first thing, as she said, find out what kind of perception does this person have. Then you can support them from that point. And you find that most people don't understand that how you view something and how you move on from there really affects the outcome that you get. For example, I know of a famous basketball player who was not doing very well in his craft. So when they sat down with the coach, and I like the way she talked about working with a coach, I mean, it's amazing. Someone who is cheering you on, telling you can do this, you will conquer the world. So now the coach would ask him, okay, so tell me what's the issue here? And they would go on and on, talking about how negative the situation is, and they're just sitting in their living room. And so the coach comes in and says, you know what? Let me tell you something. Imagine yourself, you're walking in the court there. You do your thing, you do the shoots, you have several goals, your team is winning. How does that feel? And he instantly saw, the player, the shoulders just went down, and he relaxed and he was cheering up. And he was like, yeah, I was listening to you. You were talking about that negative side of the story. And I was talking about the positive. You can see how it was affecting you. And after I gave you the positive story, how it affected you. And we're still in this living room.
Yeah.
So which way do you want to go? Do you want us to focus on the negative, the problem, or let's focus on the vision where we want to go? And that's what basically I do. I always say, I don't take people who don't have a vision. I only work with people who know where they want to go.
Yeah.
Even if it's blurry, but you are going somewhere. It's not just talking about your issue the whole time. You want to see, okay, we are here, so where do we want to go?
Yeah.
And it's very easy to move someone from here to there, just by showing them what they're able to do, just with their mind sitting right here.
Yeah. What's the power of visualization? And Munir, I'm curious. When I looked at your before and after photos, was it? Do you have a visualization, like a visual board, or how did you? Because the work that you put in, you must have seen something at the very end. So how did you do that? That's just in the same line of visualization.
Okay. Yeah, to me, I wanted to reverse my age.
Okay.
Because I had left myself. I was in that space whereby I had put in a lot into the family.
Okay.
To the extent I'd forgotten about myself.
Yeah.
So when I looked at myself on the mirror, seeing my reflection was like, I don't like it. Can I go back to when I was 20? When I was vibrant, alive?
So did you have a picture of how you looked like at 20?
Yes.
So okay.
That was like, I need to have small face, not a chubby face.
Yeah.
That was my on my visual board. That's what I was looking at.
Okay.
So I started it, and then I was recording the progress until to the point of like, I don't need it. I am here right now.
Yeah.
So the video I've sent you, that was the only reminder of my progress.
Yes.
Because I deleted everything. I didn't want to do anything with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Visualization. Sakina.
Yes.
Visualization. How is that connected to our mental health?
Largely.
Okay.
So I have a tool here.
Yes.
And I'd like to use it at this point.
Yes, please go ahead.
And this helps you with what she's talking about, visualization, but also affirmation.
Okay.
Affirming exactly what you want to be or behave in the next span of time that you pick.
Okay.
So I have a deck of cards, and you can get this from Impasto Ventures. And there's a card for every week of the year. So all I do is I'm going to shuffle it.
Okay.
All right. And Rebecca, I'm going to ask you to pick one.
Can I look at the colors? I like colors.
Yeah, you don't look under the card, but just pick one.
Okay.
Yeah.
There. I took one or two?
They're a couple.
Okay. This
Okay.
one. Okay.
Munira? and I'll also pick one,
Okay.
right? And we can turn it around. And Rebecca, what does yours tell you?
Mine says, I trust the process of my growth.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Manira?
I attract health and happiness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's super.
I celebrate my journey every step of the way.
Lovely. And my says, my mistakes do not define me. So for the rest of the week,
Yes.
until next week, Wednesday,
Yes.
you are going to focus on this.
Yeah.
So if I make a mistake, whether it's in the kitchen with the wrong recipe
Yeah.
or at work, I'm going to tell myself, my mistakes do not define me.
Okay.
What I'm doing is putting myself in a certain mindset,
Yeah.
manifesting that I'm not going to be somebody who's going to be defined by my mistakes.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to do the same. So these deck of cards, basically, it's a good deck to have because you can take a picture, you can, post it on as a screensaver. I have a friend called Larry, and every week I see a new card behind his phone cover, and that's his reminder of what exactly am I going to follow. So I would say something like this is, again, a very nice tool. Imagine playing this game with your kids at home. Where you pick a card every week on Sunday, and until the next week Sunday, if something happens in school, with their friends, you tell them, remember, your mistakes this week do not define you. And you put it on the fridge, or you let them do some art with it. I'll tell you the next step of this game that you can play with your family and friends, or with your colleagues at work, is you gift it to each other. So let's say I'd like to gift this to Munira.
Yeah.
So for the next week until Wednesday, every morning I'll write a message to her. Good morning, Munira. How are you doing? Remember, this week your mistakes do not define you.
Yes.
What is that going to do for the relationship that we have?
Yeah.
If Munira is going through something, she might be comfortable sharing with me, but also I might just give her that word of encouragement she needs that day. You will realize when you play this with your kids at home, they will gift it to somebody they might see in distress, a friend, a teacher, a family member. So what you're doing to your children by playing such games at home is you're teaching them how to maintain their own mental wellness and cope with their stress levels, because stress is going nowhere,
Yeah.
But also you're teaching them, once your own mask is on, you're helping somebody else.
Yes. I love it. This
Yes.
is very practical.
Thank you.
This is really good. And I'm sure we're going to put your contacts down here somewhere, so that at least the viewers watching, and they would want to have these cards,
Yes,
they can
you can
always
get in touch.
They can get in
Yes.
touch with you. This is amazing. The power of affirmations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Nema.
And I really love this because I meet people all the time and they're telling me, my loved one is struggling, my friend is struggling, and I don't know what to do with them. So when you have a game like this, you can just make it fun, be random. And once in a while, you might find someone can throw something at you and say something, and you'll be picking it and
Yes.
say, oh, okay. And most of the times, people are quick to advise. Don't advise anyone.
Okay.
All you can say is, that must be very hard for you.
Okay. And don't say I know, because you don't know.
You don't know, because you're not me. You
Yes.
don't know.
Yes.
My situation is very different.
Yeah.
Even if you went through the same thing,
Yes.
it could be very different.
Yes.
So just tell them,
Yeah.
that must be very hard for you.
Yes.
So you find most of the times people now feel like, oh, this one doesn't want to judge me or to advise me. Oh, let me open up.
Okay.
And it's very helpful.
Yeah. Because we fear being judged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once you just open your mouth, the first sentence, you're so petty. Like, really?
And it's so
Is that
common.
an issue?
Yeah, you'll hear your friends saying, this is nothing, me by the way.
Me, by the way.
And
Oh,
then-
what's that one of me, by the
Yeah,
way?
don't
You
do
know,
that.
I've had situations where somebody came in with a story and they're saying, we lost a relative. That's a very sad situation. I lost a relative, and then someone goes like, watch, I tell you mine. Me, I lost 3. You, it's one.
Now it's a competition.
It's a competition. So we I don't know, maybe it's our way of communicating that we really need to be sensitive to the other people around us. We just need to be sensitive as well. Yeah, now let's talk a little bit more about affirmations. When you are losing weight in your journey, through that tough, dark moment you're going through It was down 2019 during the pandemic time.
Yeah.
Yes. Were you in any way, were you particularly using any form of affirmations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time I used to say myself, I love myself.
Okay.
I'm whole, I'm enough.
Yes.
I don't need external validation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I have also, I think, I don't know why, but it's just a normal occurrence. It's a default. We talk to ourselves negatively. We put ourselves down. We shout ourselves down. I mean, we are very quick to give ourselves negative self-talk. It comes automatically like this. I'm not good enough for that space. I'm not good enough for this relationship. You know, we are very fast to conclude like that. But hardly do we think of ourselves, you know, in a positive manner. Hardly do we do that? Unless now, okay, for you guys, I know being therapists, you are very conscious and very, very intentional. So, of course, you'll be very, very careful to speak positively to yourselves.
You will be shocked.
I always imagine you guys have it all together. Like
Once in a
it's
while.
once in a while.
It's like thinking the doctor always has perfect health.
Oh, yeah.
Never.
Sometimes they have
Never.
Homa. Yeah. Okay. Now, when you talk about being holistic, how does that look like? Because we talk about, I am trying very hard, I'm working very hard to have a holistic lifestyle. What exactly is holistic?
For me, holistic is when you're coming together with. I don't want to use the word scientific-based therapies because also alternative therapy is now part of science.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I'd be able to explain it better that way. Let's say you're in a space where you're going to seek therapy, right? So you go to a therapist. But also, as a form of alternative therapy, when you're feeling anxious, you will do a grounding activity.
Okay.
Right? And while you're doing that, you're also being very cautious about what you eat, your nutrition. You're looking at it 360 degrees.
Okay.
Right? Just the way if you have a heart condition, I'm just only going to eat my medication and I will sit here all day. It's not going to help. You take a walk. You know, what are you doing in a holistic form, in your 360 degrees, of wellness?
Yeah.
Because everything is linked. Everything is linked. If you're not going to exercise, you will have health issues. If you eat wrong, your mental health will be affected. If your B12 is not balanced, if your vitamin D is not balanced, you will be in a space of, where you're not feeling too good mentally.
Yeah.
So it's all holistic is when you're looking at it in aspect of the full circle.
Yeah.
That's what I would define being holistic is. So not like because I'm meditating, I will be perfect. No, I will also need to go and dance. I will also need to take care of my nutrition. If I know I'm not making decision based on a certain trauma, I will also need to see the hypnotherapist. But I will also meditate because everything is bringing me a different aspect. I just have to know when to use what service. So I'm not overwhelmed, right? And I can also handle and sustain what I do. Because it's not about running a race. It's about being in the marathon. It's a long vision.
It's the long run.
Yes.
It's the long run. Interesting. Holistic, Nema. What is holistic? How does that look for you?
I love the way she described it.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And one thing that I have noticed is that when maybe I'm having a headache, I quickly go to the hospital and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it that when I am having stressful, situation, when I'm stressed or my emotions are over the roof, why don't you go to hospital? That's where the question lies. Because if you're looking at, the simple definition of whole, your whole body, and that includes physical, includes spiritually, includes mentally. Do you have times where you sit down and ask yourself, how am I feeling? I'm okay. No, really, how are you feeling? Maybe I'm feeling like disappointed, frustrated because, like you said, I didn't achieve my goals. And things like, okay, so what do I need? What do I need right now? Do I need to sit out and stay on my own? Do I need to talk to someone? Do I need to go for a run or a walk? Things like that.
Yeah.
So when you need to think about yourself as this person who has many different areas of their life that they need to balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you said something that is very interesting. There's a story I had once, and this person was saying she had visited a certain country somewhere. I won't mention where. You know, in Kenya, when you ask, how are you? You're quick to say, I'm fine. Sasa poa. Like we don't think it is automatic. A 2-year-old, nyaje poa. It's just in us. We say, good, we're good. So in this particular town, so this guy, somebody said hello to them, or rather they were trying to make friends on the streets. So it was a guy, a young guy, decided to say hello to an old person. He was like, hello, how are you? And the man was like, let me put my briefcase down,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you exactly how I am.
Wow.
You know what? My wife left me this morning. I'm not able to meet the mortgage bills that are due by tomorrow. He went on and on and on and on. And the Kenyan was like, hey, 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 hey.
You can just say fine and move on.
Just say fine.
Yes.
I don't care about all those other things. So when we ask you, how are you? We don't really mean it. We don't really want to know how you are. It's a formal of greeting. Like, hello, hello. You know? So when you say, how are you? You know, when you ask yourself, how am I? Okay, at that point, no, I don't have to pretend. Then that is a space I'll tell myself the truth. I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well at all, at all, at all, at all. And I need help. And like you're saying, instead of just going to the chemist and just grabbing whatever is there, or asking a friend, hey, I'm feeling like this, what do you think I should do? Let's go and find professional help.
Yeah.
Right? And even on that note, I want to find out, when we talk about we need professional help, because we throw this word around a lot. I am depressed. So-and-so looked like they have not showered. They look depressed. Like, I saw so-and-so in the morning. Aki, she went to the shop, to the supermarket. She still had her stockings on her head. You know, stockings we wear when we're sleeping. She still had that on. She must be depressed. So we throw that word around a lot. How do we identify, number one, somebody who's depressed? What is a normal person, just normal stress? How does that look like? How does it look like when it is just moderate? And how does it look like when it is severe? Because we need to help our family members. Yeah? Like she had started by telling us a story of how she would sleep the whole day and she thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And she thought it was normal until she looked for help. Right? So if you have people in your house, what should they be looking out for?
I would say there are a couple of symptoms
Okay.
when you look at depression, when you look at anxiety. But I'd first say, please don't be a therapist. Therapists have studied a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
They do a master's to be called a therapist.
Yeah.
That is a lot of education. So don't be the therapist and diagnose. You can't tell somebody they have depression, they have anxiety, but you can try and point out that their symptoms, they should go and see the doctor. The same way you're not going to go to somebody who's coughing in your family and tell them you have cancer. You know, you will scare them away. You tell them, you know, these symptoms look like it's COVID. You know, the symptoms look like it's COVID or it looks like a flu. Why don't you go and check it out? So what are these symptoms we're looking at? One is change in behavior. So you can be somebody who gets 8 hours of sleep. That does not mean you're anxious or depressed. All of a sudden, you start seeing a pattern where you're only sleeping for 4 hours. You can't sleep at night really well, or you're waking up very early in the morning based on the change of behavior. Either you're starting to binge eat, and I know we were speaking to Munira, and this is one of the things she's like, when I was just eating, you know, before she started her journey. Yeah. You either start to binge eat or your appetite is just dead. Completely dead.
So it can be one or the other.
Exactly. So what we're looking for is change in behavior.
Okay.
Some people have just isolated themselves totally.
Yeah.
Right? So when you start to note this change in behavior, how long has it been for? So we all go through episodes in our lives. We've had a fight with somebody, we lose a loved one. So again, grief and depression are very different.
Okay.
However, if you see that these symptoms are persistent and they're still there for more than 2 weeks, now it's high time you seek help. So the time is what's very key.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you go through a dip, and especially for women, we know when it's when our menstruals, we know how we behave during our cycle.
Yeah.
So if it's not less than 2 weeks, there are these coping mechanisms that would help. And even for me, probably when you go through something and you're like, I will meditate and I will do all these alternative therapies, but it's not working now. Now it's time for me to go and see a professional and see a therapist.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say is the key symptoms.
Yeah.
What I have said, but the timeline.
Okay, the 2 weeks you talked about.
2 weeks. See how you're feeling in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Nema, tell us, what are some of the symptoms? Okay, we've been told about change in habits. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So one thing we need to understand is that everyone has some aspects of these behaviors. Like she said, change in eating habits, the patterns of sleep.
Okay.
We experience those once in a while. But the problem comes in when it's prevalent, like it's longer than 2 weeks. Then you need to start asking yourself, okay, what happened? What changed? What caused this? So that you can understand what is going on in my life. And I like the way she talked about the aspect of time, because how our minds work is when you do something for an extended period of time, you realize, you start thinking, oh, see me, I'm like that. But you don't understand that this is an issue that was not addressed. Now it's becoming bigger and bigger. And the other thing is, as you progress with these kinds of behaviors, these kinds of, where you talk about the like sweaty palms, anxiety, even myself, with time, I developed very chronic anxiety.
Okay. How does that look like, chronic anxiety?
Wow, it's a long story, but the most extreme was I couldn't sleep through the night.
Okay.
And I was not like just staring at the ceiling. No, I was hyperventilating.
Okay.
I was feeling like in the next minute I'm gonna pass out.
Okay. Like you're suffocating.
My digestive tract was, producing food both sides, up and down.
Yeah.
So it's something that was really bad, and it's something that you don't want to progress to get to that point.
Okay.
That's why it's very important, like she said, if something has changed within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, don't wait for too long.
Okay.
Because, with time, I used to just, when I start feeling that the anxiety coming, and it progresses very fast, you start feeling like the hair behind here is standing up, and you can't really control your heartbeat. It's just too much. And you can feel your heartbeat in every single part of your body.
Yeah.
You even feel like your breathing is gonna stop. In fact, the first time I experienced it, I told my husband, I took this medicine because I knew I was not going to make it to hospital. I told him, when we get to hospital, tell them I took this medicine and this happened, like that. Because the way I was feeling, I was like, there's no way I'll be conscious once I get there. So it's and that's what happens. The same way, when there's a torn here on this chair, you leave it like that, it keeps going. It's gonna be harder to repair than if you repaired it earlier. So any changes, any behaviors you don't understand, find a way to talk about them and find solutions.
Yeah. And your loved ones should see that something is different. We should also teach them and tell them, this topic, I believe, should also be taught to our children and our partners.
Yes.
So that they understand that if mommy behaves in a certain way, or if I see you behaving in a certain way, that means we're not doing well. And then we need to take the next step and take it further so that it's addressed before it gets, to that stage. Right? Yeah. Because, depression, I just learned that depression is a mental illness. right? It's one of the mental illnesses. Again, you're telling me about that.
Yes, obviously it is.
Yes.
It's just that we use it we throw the term very lightly.
Yeah.
But it's a diagnosis.
Okay.
So let a therapist tell you what the issue is rather than Googling it and going to tell the therapist why you are there.
Asking ChatGPT.
You know? yeah, which is again very dangerous.
Yes.
We were talking about a scenario, I'm sure,
Yes.
before this where you said somebody suicided because of ChatGPT.
ChatGPT gave them the most painless and fastest and most effective way of killing themselves.
Yes.
A young man,
Yes.
and he did that and he
Yeah.
died.
And we have to realize that tools will be there. It's for us how to use it. When you have a sharp tool, you can either cut your vegetables with it, use it to build a house, but you can also harm people with it.
Yes.
So the tools are there. It's for us to realize how we want to use those tools.
Yes, but use them in a positive way. Interesting. Now we have different and changing circumstances in life. I don't want to say in Kenya, but I know it's all over the world. Only that I don't know what's happening out there. But here, there are different changing circumstances, some good, some bad. And we're in that roller coaster, today there's a riot, tomorrow there's tear gas. I mean, it's happening very, very fast.
Yeah.
We're getting used to it, by the way. We are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Getting used to it. How would you advise people? Because now we don't want to face our future with fear, all right? We want to still have and maintain the hope. We want to maintain the positivity, right? Although the fear is there, the fear of what if, 2027 coming soon. I mean, what if? So how do you help us, right? Face life with curiosity, with good energy, rather than facing life and our future with fear. How do we do that?
I think one is the coping mechanisms that we thought of.
Okay.
Because once you realize what coping mechanism works for you, whether it's dance, whether it's meditation, whether it's a grounding technique, whether it's playing these cards, what happens is it builds your resiliency. Stress is going to come. You will have episodes where you're down, but how are you bouncing back? To me, that is what mental health is about. How quick are you bouncing back and how resilient are you? You're talking about a what if, because that's how we function. The millennials function like that. What if? That's save because what if. But if you look at the Gen Zs, they don't even think of what if because they're like, but we don't have anything to even think about. They live in a generation, and millennials too will live in a generation where it's very hard to invest in a home, to get a car. And so what kind of world have we left for the next generation? But also they need to build their resiliency to what is coming to them. And you do that by knowing what coping mechanism is going to help me. How am I building my boat to sway in this tide? What are my tools? So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, what are some of those coping tools?
So one we've done here, the affirmation cards, right? What works for you? Are you somebody who likes to get up and dance to be able to feel better? Are you somebody who wants to sit and, and look within in terms and do some sort of meditation? What works for you? That's what you need to realize. So what coping mechanism works for you that will help you on a day-to-day basis? Don't wait. Sometimes you have these uprises and you have riots because people have kept it in for so long, that now they're just ready to do anything. And it's a very dangerous space to be because now there's no fear, do or die. This has to happen. But if those grievances are addressed on a daily basis within yourself, now when I'm talking about mental health, your resiliency builds. So know yourself, your personality, your color. Know what works well for you in your environment. What are you enjoying to do? Don't do yoga because your friend likes it. What do you like to do? And then consistency. You might not be able to do it 5 times a week. Start with once a week, even if it's a light walk. Do it twice a week, thrice a week. Go for a hike. What works for you? And then do it consistently. Don't wait for that one annual holiday to feel better. Feel better every day.
Yeah. So, Nema, what do you do to feel better every day?
Well, I do a lot of things.
Okay.
And recently I started going to the gym and I love it.
Okay.
So what I wanted to say was about making a decision. We are in a space where a lot of times, okay, I'm fearing what if I make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
Then I won't decide. I'll just stay like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? No, if you don't make a decision,
That's a decision.
it's automatically you are deciding
Yes.
on failure.
Yes.
So you have to get to a point where you decide, I want to change this. And I love the way she said, I got to a point where I said, I have to change my lifestyle.
Yes.
I have to do something different.
Yeah.
And with that decision, it's not really going to be easy. It's never easy. But you know what will happen? Once you start, just start easy, like she said, one day a week. So once you start making those baby steps, your mind will be like, I don't like this idea, but it looks like you're enjoying it and you want to do it more often. So
Yes.
let's do it.
Yes.
So it's very easy because our minds are very powerful. And most of the times we find that we act from points of other people's opinions,
Yep.
experiences we've had. If you, for example, my mom was a stay at home mom. I said, when I have a family, I will be a stay at home mom. But I was not 100% happy. So at some point, I told myself, you know what, you have to decide. Is it your happiness or is it someone else's perception of life?
Yeah.
So you have to make a decision.
Yeah. Interesting. Munira, I'm curious. What are your coping tools?
For me, when I look at it about what if, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
If I fail, I'll not really look at it as a failure, but what do I learn from this?
Okay. Wow,
That's
lovely.
my coping mechanism.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a failure. It was a stepping stone towards where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
just a
what you
building
learn
block.
from it.
Yes, and what do you learn from it? I like that. If we looked at life like that, then we'd all be very happy human beings. Yeah, there's no failure. You started by telling us there's nothing
Yeah.
like failure.
Failure is but a myth.
It's a myth.
Failure is but a myth, and it is an aspect we use in meditation.
Okay.
That there is no good or bad meditation. You know, you're just in the search, and that's where you keep on going, and there is no failure to it. And it's such a lovely teaching if we take it into our lives. Failure is just a myth.
It's just a myth. Oh my gosh, that is so liberating.
Yeah, and I love the way someone who said failure, you just figure out another way
Of not
that's
doing it.
not working. So
Yeah,
it's a learning journey.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think one day I'll give a story here where, I mean, the many projects have failed. Oh my gosh, I lost count. Like many, you just fail in that one, still come back up, come back for fresh air, then go back in there. I mean, we've done that. We've been that. We've been there. And like you've said, if you just face life with that there's nothing called failure, then we're good. Yeah, we do it. We go for it. We try it. Then if it doesn't work again, all right, close our book for now. We'll come and look at it later. Shelve it. Come and look at it later. Yeah? And now something about depression still, I want to still go back there. For women who have just had, they've given birth, especially first-time mothers, because I see that a lot with them. And we find them acting not normal. Like we started by saying, a mother will decide, I need to sleep, I need my sleep. Yeah. So let me put some drugs and my daughter's milk. I mean, it will at least get me 3 hours of sleep. At that point, it looks okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing too much. By the way, it's just a drop, just to get us both to sleep. And if we both sleep, I am a better mother after that. So you told me it's called post-depression.
Postpartum depression.
Yes.
And extremely common.
Okay.
And again, I found this very fascinating. I know somebody, and she's a good friend. She's called Zia Jaffer. And she actually compiled a book on nutrition and postpartum, your postpartum journey. So being a mother, I'm not there yet, but I'm sure it is an overwhelming journey.
Yeah.
Your body is reacting in a way, your emotions are in a different way. So yes, that does happen. There was a situation where there was somebody who mentioned to me that they felt like picking their baby and just brushing them on the wall. And she's like, "Can you imagine?" I cannot. But can you imagine what that feeling is for a mother? And she's like, "And who can I go and share this feeling with my family?" I know. They'll call me a demon, but it happens and it is normal. So I want to tell women out there who are going through this, it is
Absolutely normal.
Yeah.
Speak to somebody about it. And that's why I say it's good to speak to somebody who has experienced that, or somebody in a professional space, and they will be able to guide you through it. Have a good circle around you. You're having a child. It's okay to have a nanny. You're not a bad mother if you have a nanny, because that's perception. If you can afford it. Have a helping neighbor. Have your parents around you. Have your family around you. It's okay to lean towards somebody and say, you know what, I need help. Ask for that help.
Yeah, let's ask for help, Nema.
Yeah.
Let's not drown in our pain or in the confusion. It's interesting. Now, let's talk about small wins. How do we celebrate the small wins? And is it even necessary? Because, we have milestones, right? And most of us will wait until that project is done. Then I'll call my friends to see and we will celebrate. When we talk about small wins, what is the superpower of small wins?
I would say motivation.
Okay.
And I come from a space where I'm coaching a certain group. This is the BNI group, which Nema is also part of. And so many problems. And I was speaking to the president of that particular, business group, and he's like, people are doing this. And we went on, and then I told him, but did you realize everybody came on time? And he laughed at me. He told me, now I'm telling you 10 problems. You're telling me that one thing. I'm like, yes, but do you realize it has changed? So if we're acknowledging 10 things that did not work today, what are you acknowledging that one thing actually worked? And that small win will keep you going, because that's life.
Yes.
Life is be at it, keep going. But what is keeping you going? So every day in the evening, sit down, and from the 100 things that did not work and the 100 clients that did not pay you, what worked for you today? That's what you want to look at.
Yes. Power of small wins.
Yes.
Nema, do you calculate your small wins, and how often?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say on a good day, daily, but most of the time weekly.
Okay.
Because small wins, what they do to you, and as I explained, because I am very mind-centered.
Okay.
Once your mind notices something, and it notices that you're doing it again, it starts, okay, oh, I don't like it, but okay, let's do it. So that's what happened. You've noticed the way you notice a Range Rover on the road, and then all of a sudden there are 100 of them on the road, and you're like, I didn't think there are this many Range Rovers. That's how the mind works. Once it notices something, it becomes something of interest. So it's going to make sure that more of that happens to you. So like she said, when you notice the positives, and that's how usually people go into the rabbit hole of, feeling those depressed emotions, is because of they make it the center of their lives.
Yes.
And our minds are very good at protecting that space. So once I've created this cocoon around me, for example, when my son was sick, from the things people tell me when I go to public functions, I got to a point where, you know what, I'm not going to be going for these weddings. You won't see me. Because I'd rather be at home in my space. No one will bother me with questions. No one will bother me with their 100 advices that you don't know. People try a lot of things.
Yes,
including myself. I'm telling you, I did everything. In fact, I remember I used to get, when we went to the coast one time, and he would swim in the salty water, and the wounds would start drying up and all of that. I was like, maybe we should use it. So can you imagine, I used to send someone to bring me the water from the sea to Nairobi.
Wow.
So people try so many things. Don't look like you're the one who knows what they're going through. So the advice and everything else,
Yeah.
Just keep it to yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Small wins, Munira.
Small.
For me, small wins keep me going.
Okay.
And it's like a motivation
Yes.
towards the bigger picture, the
Yes.
bigger goal.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a way of motivation
Yeah.
and wanting to push
Yeah.
to the bigger goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a day I remember. It was on a Tuesday. And I decided I'm going to reward myself today. I had achieved something, not so much, just something small. And I said, you know what? How can I do this? How can I celebrate me on a Tuesday? I decided, you know what? I'm going to watch a movie. I'll go to the movie theater. I will go there, wear those my 3D glasses, all by myself. And it was interesting because I was the only one there in that theater.
No.
The whole thing, I was just alone with my popcorn and my soda. And I felt so refreshed. I felt amazing. It wasn't much, but I rewarded myself. And I told myself, you know what? Next time you do something else, again, we'll reward you with something different. It was a good feeling when you acknowledge that I'm happy with myself. You know, and like you're saying, focus on the positive bit of it, because we only beat ourselves up. We are not happy with ourselves. We wish we had done like our neighbor who has been doing very well, extremely very well. We notice they're changing their cars very, very often. Let's just be okay with our small wins, and let's just be happy with that, and let's acknowledge that, right? Now, very, very briefly, we're going to tell people where to find us and why they should find you. The why. Why you, Sakina?
Sure.
Right, yeah, just in 1 minute.
Sure. So one of the main things that we have is I have 130 students, actually plus 130 plus students. And what they do is they provide telesupport for people who are not in the good space. So if you feel that there's somebody who needs assistance, you know, for 24 hours, one of our students monitors them, and they do this on, absolutely free. You can reach out to 0706 436347. Just send us a WhatsApp message and we will be able to assist you. The point of them monitoring somebody for 24 hours is just so the person is safe, right? And then we request the person to see a therapist. So who you will be talking to is not a therapist, but a suicide first aid student who can keep the individual safe. Kindly log into www.impasto.co.ke and reach out to us, whether it's to give a talk in your space or carry out a workshop, or just generally just to have a circle, a men's wellness circle, speak to women. Reach out to us and we'll be there for you. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. Nema.
Okay, so you can reach me on LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok via Neema Njoroge. That's where you can send me a message or send a comment and I'll follow up with you, see what's going on. Because why do you need to talk to me? It's because most of the times, and I'm sure most of you have gone through this, something is going on with you and you can't put a finger what is happening. And most of the time, if you don't understand yourself, even the people around you don't understand what's wrong with you. And they're like, maybe you've gone to the hospital. I've worked with a lot of people who have had, let's say, sleeping issues, and they've even taken the medication, but nothing worked. If anything, you become dependent on the medication. So it's very important to find out where this issue is coming from. And that's what I help you uncover and make sure that you can move on with your life with the freedom that you deserve.
Interesting. We need to talk to the camera.
Sukuma Wellness Experience for Active Transformation is a wellness company that is entailing on services of physical fitness, mental health, and nutrition. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok on Sukuma Wellness Experience, Sukuma Dance Fitness Kenya, and Sukuma Dance Fitness Uganda.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies. This was an interesting conversation, and I'm sure that somebody watching out there, somebody will be leaning in a little bit more even to themselves, just leaning into themselves to understand how they're feeling. And even now, at least we brought that awareness through this conversation. And that was the intention of this conversation, right? So thank you again all for joining us. Mental wellness is not a day thing. It's just not a one-time thing. It's a daily thing. We need to keep checking on ourselves. Let us slow down. Let's breathe in and let's just breathe out. Let's just slow down and find out, how are we? Are we okay? And it's okay to go into that restaurant and have, I wanted to say a one-man guitar, but this time it's a one-man table. One-man table or one-woman table. Just go in there, enjoy your meal by yourself, check in for yourself, by yourself, and enjoy yourself. Like, this is Off Mute with Becky, where the discussions are real, practical, and simple. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.